Hi everybody, welcome back. Another technical demo around the Quarkus application. I am Daniel O. So for several years, Kubernetes has turned into the foundation layer of cloud-native application architecture to run microservice application and serverless. But they also changed significantly for developers to control the inner and outer loop development workflows of Kubernetes at scale and speed. What capabilities are required in the application framework to build code and automating deployment quickly in line with the development loop, and what benefits will developers gain from it? In this demo, I'm going to walk you through how Quarkus allows you to enhance the development loop by live coding on the remote OpenShift cluster, just like what you do in your local environment. Let's get started. Okay, so we're gonna use a Maven plugin command line to generate the Quarkus application. As you can see, we need to specify a project group ID and an artifact ID and a project version and a class name. Reader resource will be generated automatically to expose the RESTful API. And also, we're gonna use OpenShift extension which allows you generate all OpenShift manifest to deploy your application to remote OpenShift container platform. Once the build succeeds, let's try to take a look at that. The new project actually just generated, and try to open this project with the Java editor such as VS Code. And when you go to PalmXML, you can find all dependencies all already pulled down your local environment, like for example, Quarkus OpenShift extension already pulled down. And when you go to Greeter source the Java file, which exposes REST endpoint and just hello, return code hello, that's easy. Okay, go to change directory and try to run this application as Quarkus dev mode. So you can actually run this application with the live coding capability on your local machine, which means whenever you change code, the Quarkus automatically detects the change code and repackage, rebuild, and redeploy as a hotspot technology without any human intervention. As you can see, the profile dev activity and the live coding activity. So cool. So let's go to web browser and try to access the endpoint like hello. And then we're going to find the end code, the hello REST EG. You can see that. And then the next move, we're going to change the code just like imagine, okay, I need to change my application, like a return output, the hello REST EG from local, and try to refresh your web browser one more time. And you can find that the new output will be showcased. It's pretty simple, and this is the how you change your code and the live coding. Behind the scenes, the Quarkus automatically detect the change code and replace to your code. It just took 1 second to make that happen. Pretty cool, isn't it? So I'm going to start my local environment, and I need to deploy this application to OpenShift container platform. In order to do that, I needed to packaging this mutable application because we need to steal live coding functionality when you deploy this application to OpenShift. So even though this application will be containerized, but still this application mutable, which means we can change the application code. And then the library load password, this should be communicate between client and server. You can put in any random text. And then here are just some configuration to deploy this application to OpenShift, like a container image build. And we're going to use a client trust certificate on OpenShift container platform and target environment Kubernetes cluster, definitely OpenShift. And then we're going to export this application using OpenShift route capability. And then there are one environment variable to use live coding dev mode. So this is my OpenShift container platform, but there's no resources here. So I'm going to need to make sure I already logged in this project. So using OC command line and okay, I'm here. And then we're going to use the Maven command line once again using Maven packaging. But we needed to pass down Quarkus Kubernetes deploy equal true, which means once your mutable application is packaged, and then OpenShift source to image processor will be trigger to deploy this application to OpenShift container platform. In the meantime, this processor will containerize this application to Linux container image and push it into inside the OpenShift container registry. Okay, build success. And then let's try to a little bit drill down target directory, and then you can find the Quarkus-app. It's a new directory that put in your mutable application. For example, Quarkus-run.jar file is the mutable application. Okay, so application is deployed in OpenShift container platform. When you click on this path, and then you can find the view logs, and then here is the view logs, and you can find profile dev activated and live coding activated, just like we saw in our local environment. So which means you are all set to ready to go to use live coding. Try to access the endpoint on OpenShift container platform. The hello rest easy from local. That's what exactly same thing, same output we saw in the local environment. All right, just copy the route URL, and then let's try to run local environment with the remote development. In order to that, we need to add one more compilation, such as the live load URL, which refers to our route URL. And then we don't need to this OpenShift compilation because we don't need to trigger OpenShift S2I builder processor whenever we change code. Okay, try to run Quarkus and Remote-Dev, which allows you to run Quarkus application as a remote dev mode, which means your Quarkus runtime try to access a remote server, like connect to remote server based on the remote URL. Okay, so pretty cool. And the next step, let's go back to our application code and change the output like from OpenShift. And then go back to our web browser, try to refresh this web browser, and then we gotta have a new output, hello rest easy from OpenShift, just like the same functionality we did in a local environment. Behind the scene, the Quarkus Remote Dev environment actually detected the change in the code, create resource Java classes, and then try to sending the application classes and jar, mutable jar to OpenShift container platform. Let's try it one more time just to have fun. And then with the Quarkus Remote Dev, and then reload web browser once again, and then we got a new output here. Pretty easy and pretty cool. Okay, so today in this demo, you learn how Quarkus is capable of enhancing the development loop by activating the live coding capability from your local machine to the remote container environment, for example, OpenShift, but also you can actually run this capability on vanilla Kubernetes and container engine, etc. So this is what new cloud-native Java runtime should provide for developers to simplify the development workflow from writing code to build, run, debug, and deploy microservices and serverless application at speed. And just be sure you don't need to use this functionality in your production environment, because it might cause unexpected functional change immediately while you are running the remote dev mode. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel and have a good rest of the day.